I lied to you again, because I visited Frontier Developments a month ago and I played the Parades pack. Well, more about that in a second. I feel terribly sorry, but the good thing is I was able to give feedback very early on. And let me tell you, besides the fact I cannot give you exact feedback what we talked about, I can assure you that most of all, almost everything has been realized. It has been an incredible honor. I'll be talking you through how exactly that happened in a bit, but let's first of all jump into the trailer, watch it, and then I'll go through it piece by piece, and we're going to have a look at what is in there. So let's roll the trailer and go into the analysis. Okay, so the Parades DLC is the most expensive DLC yet, but it's also by far the best Planet Coaster DLC ever. And I do include all the Planet Coaster 1 DLCs into that, and it's absolutely worth the money. We'll get to that at the end. You get more than ever for the DLC, more pieces, more rides, more features. But there is even more to that. I was able, as I said, to play this for over an hour in March of this year. This happened during my visit for Planet Zoo 2, actually. More about the whole story at the end of the video, because I assume you want to get more news about the DLC, because it's freaking fantastic. And I'll talk you through what kind of feedback I was giving at the end, even though I can't get too precise. If you've seen my Planet Zoo 2 video, you know exactly what this is about, but I still can give you a lot of good insights to why this is such a great DLC. So let's get going. You can see already in front of you, you can see a lot of new things, a lot of firsts in here. So you can see the brand new trolley ride that has been somehow leaked because Frontier unfortunately enabled the blueprints that they already had, so they leaked it themselves. In any case, we have the brand new Small Town set in front of us. Small Town, aka Main Street set, if you will. Let's quickly zoom in, because there is so much to see. I'm just gonna briefly stop this video here, because what we can definitely see a couple of new of the wonderful brick sets that come with the DLC. We were also able to watch a behind the scenes video. I gotta say, I'm very thankful for that, because I'm allowed to talk about everything. I basically have played it already, so I know a couple of things that I've seen already. So there are a couple of very cool sets, and most likely Frontier is going to release the scenery pieces again on the website. I'm not sure yet if they did, but if so, you can get into that. So there are a couple of different wall pieces. We have these kind of classic brick. We also have some bigger slabs, as you can see on the ground here, similar to what you can see on the ground, but it's peeking through here on the side over here a bit more. Like, these are the typical kind of bigger masonry slabs that you have. You also get two different types of roof pieces. It's these smaller shingles and wider planks, as you can tell. And there's also the wider planks is available also as a wall set, which comes in very handy for my Frontierland, or actually the what was that again? the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. There we go. Recreation I'm doing. That comes in very handy. You can see the new benches, new lampposts, new kind of bins, all very theme park as Small Town they call it. It is absolutely theme park. On all these iron pieces over here from Pip Whistle Street. Absolutely freaking fantastic. Let's get into it, because it's fantastic. Also, the zoom in is so cool. This is our new mascot. Again, it comes into in a male and a female variant, which is pretty damn cool. And we can skip that real quick, because there is just so much more to say. Guys, this is just so hard because I needed to keep that as a secret again next to Planet Zoo 2. I was the only one to give that feedback. But there's a lot of other things. I'm not sure if it's all new, but you can also see there are a couple of new shirts and skirt variants. I think they add on every single time a couple more variants for the guest this time around here with that kind of what's that mythology theme on the shirt. But if you peek into the background, you can see a couple of the new pieces. This is from the slabs, a lot of these kind of masonry pillars and stuff, very cool things. You can see various different roof types. They say over 300 plus new scenery pieces, but there is even more because we get a whole bunch of new items for the parades. They're like float items. They're not even calculated into the 300 pieces. So it's even more than that. It's really, really, really crazy. And you can see people are waiting for the parades shearing. But there is more to that. So there is this brand new mechanic, and you have already seen that, when there is a ride coming, and that includes now the trolley, the steam train, the bus ride, and the parades. One of them comes across, then people will actually stop walking over. But it's actually a lot better than you think. There is a certain checkbox, a distance of where the ride is, and from a certain distance people will still cross, but once that distance is too little, then they stop before they walk over. So it's kind of cool to see. Before a parade comes, the people gather together, a little bit like the Planet Zoo educator tours, but a lot more dynamic. Like the tour is kind of announced and the floats come over, and you can see people actually running to their places left and right to the street. That is so good to see. It's such a great atmosphere. Another very cool look here on some of the new iron pieces from the small town set. It is genuinely just so chef kiss, my friends. It's so good. But yeah, let's continue. This shot over here is absolutely mad. You can see how much is going on. So they have really also put a lot of effort into making sure it's kind of crowded, you know. A lot of people there are super popular, super famous, which is important because they're not that often during the day. I mean, you can set it more often you want to, and you can even set this to nighttime and have a different trigger. I don't know, a certain someone might have said something about this. Who knows? But at the end of the day, this is freaking fantastic because you can then decide whether it's been illuminated at night or not, or at day or not. And you have maybe seen in the last free update, and I needed to smirk quite a lot because some of the changes in the last free update were already in advance to what is coming with this update. So a lot of the new trigger options, like trigger for separate trains, for example, is a direct result of the Parades DLC, because yes, you can trigger each individual float individually if you want to. So say you have a water and ice and fire themed float, you can trigger various effects on the same position. The one has like an ice effect, the other one has a water effect, and the other one has a fire effect. And obviously you don't want these effects all to go on simultaneously for all the rides. You want to have the water flow react to water and the fire vice versa to fire. So you can do all of that. The menu is quite loaded for the parades, and it is super heavy, but it's also kind of ridiculous. Now you can see also here there are some very tiny new lamps and also new speakers, because there is a new feature called the speaker takeover. So it does exactly what you assume it does. It does take over speakers in the reach of the floats. So if you set for this float over here, this is our Queen Splash float, you have some dedicated Queen Splash kind of music, then everything that is in the reach of this float will be taken over, like real theme parks do it. And there is like a kind of complicated kind of geotagging and like GPS going on in real life. And in this game it's kind of similar. All the speakers around that normally play like ambience park musics will be taken over to amplify the music, which is really damn cool. And it worked like a charm, my friends. It worked so good. Here you can see also a couple of new like roof pieces and dormers as well. You can see this different roof piece over here. Like there's so much, guys. Some different shop awnings over here, as you can see. Really, really great stuff. And I cannot confirm, but I did talk to a lot of other people who potentially have also seen that behind the scenes stuff. And we we kind of questioned ourselves if the graphics have been improved. There is no official confirmation, but I mean, judge yourself by what you see on screen, and we have some screenshots later on as well. It looks as if they have even so much more crispified, is that even a word? But they have really improved the clarity of the whole thing, and it also seems like that the global illumination has also made another step forward. It might just be me because of being so treated by Sky Studio and then eventually not doing that anymore, but for that update, and it just still looked stellar. I don't know, but as you can see over here, this is one of the perfect examples of the new scenery pieces for the float specifically. This is the new Sand Castle set, so every in-game entertainer comes now with its own scenery item set that they will be able to be featured on these rides. So you can see there's a whole bunch of sand pieces added, and let me tell you, Frontier yet again has taken in all the feedback. These pieces are so versatile, so you can obviously use them for the float if you want to, but you can also just do this for whatever you want. They're all flexi-color. There's a lot of cool stuff. Look at that little shell over here, that typical kind of kids shell. You can even make like a kids playground with these kind of things. And by the way, speaking of playgrounds, no, you're not getting playgrounds before you're hyped too much. But let me talk about that later after the DLC, because I will give you a pretty specific rating of this DLC with a little bit of a very good outcome, I guess, for the future. Anyways, let's play on. You can see we're just like a couple seconds in, and there's like so much to see. There's a lot of new also animated pieces, which is super cool, and there's a lot, as you can see, there are entertainers on the rides. We're being pleased with two different new dedicated entertaining platforms. That is so cool. The one is actually a static one, so this is the platform on top of here. As you can see, there is this entertainer which will always be on top of that one static, but you can choose the animation they should play, so either wave or jump or dance or whatever. And then there is a moving platform, so that means there is a certain space in which they walk forth and back on the platform if you want to, so you can have a lot of dynamic. And as you have also seen, maybe there is a lot of people walking, and you can see down here there are actually people walking next to the floats, just as it is in real life. You can either choose normal staff members that looks like securities, or you can make them even be entertainers themselves as well. And guess what? Yes, you can even make foot walking floats if you want to, so you decide to have not a float but actually a row of 4 or 5 or 3 entertainers walking next to each other, so you have them also waving, greeting and whatnot. So cool. You can also see there are some of the arcade machines down here. I literally thought that is also going to be part of the DLC, so I was kind of shocked that this is going to be the free update a couple weeks ago. I really was shocked because I was so certain that this is also part of the Parades pack. This wasn't told to me. I also didn't know of the second coaster that we are going to see. That one they also did hide from me, but I've seen all the other stuff. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Yeah, it is crazy. We are pleased these days, guys. I'm all over the place. Like the last couple of weeks, for people who love the creative simulation management game category, they must be absolutely in a constant level of hype. It is ridiculous. Now, you can see this is the obvious choice that everyone has been asking for. This is an RMC Raptor, or in the game it's the HPC Single Rail, I guess it is called. And no, it's HPC Buzzard, not Single Rail Buzzard. But yeah, apparently that is exactly what you assume it is, the Single Rail coaster. So cool. But that's not about it. There is another one over here, and that is a very welcome addition as well for the coaster nerds out there. This is a B&M narrow drop, or in the game it's the VNN narrow drop. So what is that? It has a kind of reduced amount of seating rows, and it also has a smaller footprint for the track itself, with a kind of a thinner spine. Funnily enough, though, we get a thicker spine as well for the coaster as well. So as they showed in the behind the scenes stuff, and so that is going to be really cool. I also want to give a huge props to the people building again, like the person who has built this park. They get better and better and better every single update. The amount of detail they put in, even some drainage over here goes in there. They really have done such a great job. This park over here, which is also part again that you can play on the Korea, is fantastic. And yes, it's getting a splashdown. So we get our very first B&M drop with a proper splashdown, and not only with the effects. Remember Koali Beach back in the day? We did do this on our own because we we needed to, but that was fantastic as well. And now in here, you can see one of my favorite additions. I'm not even joking. We need more kids and family rides, and that is so cool. This is the Little Dipper, a totally fine, small footprint family drop tower. How cool is that? And they said it's very popular in game. It has a very high prestige and a very high popularity, which I think is perfect, because this is kind of one of these all-ager kind of things where you can already take on the little ones, and they said it's especially good for families, but you can also go on there as some more adults with your kids. The only ones are teens that are out of the kind of calculation over here, but that is fine, you know. Going on, there's even more to that. We get a jumping disc, another very fun, typical kind of, you know, fair ride. It's so cool. Love that. It's almost like vintage, but the whole thing, as you can see, it looks so cool. It is that, like, again, very small, not very small, but a rather small footprint it has. Very nice addition to the generic Flatrides. They come also with a couple of blueprints, as you can imagine, but they will also look very fantastic in their generic version that you can, as always, style as you want to. For me personally, also a very cool choice. Then we obviously also get that trolley over here, the electric trolley, another very classic Disney ride. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the Disney Main Street DLC, isn't it? So what shall I say? It is exactly what you assume it is. Very cool one. Again, comes with all the features, and it comes with the first time ever they did put some work onto making supports of the rides look really cool. It's not these supports, but they do have some really cool in-game supports as well. So if you decide to have that on a raised level, that looks really cool. And obviously it comes with the same kind of mechanic that people will stop on the road. All of these rides have the option to go on path directly or on a normal track, and you can also add a pause track on all of these, so it can actually stop on pathway as well if you want it to. So you can actually now, with trigger events and event trigger kind of pieces, create some really cool effects of like making, you know, like trigger effects. I have some, how are the things called, like these barriers that go up and down. Forgot how that's called in English. But yeah, so this is basically what you can do with this one. A very, very cool addition in my opinion. And there are a lot of new firework pieces as well, quite a lot of those actually, because at nighttime everything illuminates, as you can see, and people will step on here and cheer to their favorite entertainers, favorite rides. And yes, I think that's a very important one. I remember Rich and I talked quite a lot about that, how Disney does it with the electrical parade at night and the normal parades at day, and how all the versatility goes in. And this is why the menu is also quite loaded, you know. Like this is like, I was so lucky to give feedback, and again, I can't really tell you the details, but I can tell you at least that we talked about the topic of Disney Electrical Parade and how they, you know, make this in real life as inspiration, because that is certainly where you get most of the inspirations for the parades from anyways. And I love the idea of having the chance to really get in fireworks and illumination, and so really happy to see all the additions to make nighttime even so much more of a theme going on. That is so cool. I think nighttime till this point in time has been a little bit neglected, so I'm very happy to see how they now made a step forward, and that is an ongoing theme, a step forward. You know, bear with me just a couple more seconds. We are going to talk about that. I'm so excited because there is a lot I want to talk about at the end. I have already started talking about that for the free update though, a couple days ago, but yeah, we need to talk about that. Here you can see just a couple of more beauty shots because they're just so good. That shot over here, my guy, oh god, it's so good. Look at all the different styles over here with the lighting at nighttime. That is just freaking insane, with all the kind of global illumination strengths over here, making the whole thing look so fantastic. And also how the illumination works and this kind of really electrical parade vibes that you're having over here. They improved also a lot of VFX and the glass appeal, specifically here with the glass bubble. You can see how nice that looks at nighttime. Remember in the past we had sometimes some issues that especially VFX and especially glass at nighttime was barely even visible because something with the shader wasn't really working that nice. And yeah, you know, from the free update we get some more very cool scenery pieces for the souvenir shop. You can tell from my a little bit more focused and a little bit more structured overview this time around that there is a lot to talk about in here. It's coming the 25th of June, so you gotta bear with it a week longer from today, but it is absolutely fantastic. And I want to go quickly into the screenshots. So let's click the screenshot on because they are a little bit more detailed. So here you can see one of their wonderful aquatic floats that they have done. And yeah, I mean, just... yeah, what shall I say? It looks freaking insane. That one over here is absolutely the one glamour shot. And this is exactly where I wanted to talk about that. Again, decide yourself. But I have the feeling this is looking a lot more realistic and a lot more Planet Zoo-esque from the lighting. I don't know what else to say. Planet Zoo for me is the absolute benchmark when it comes to realistic lighting. Planet Zoo has taken the Planet games to look photorealistic due to the fact how nice that is. And yes, Planko always looked good, but it always had that very poppy appeal. Look at this picture. It might just be me. Decide it yourself. I don't do any color correction on the video, but it just looks a little bit more subtle. It looks a little bit more realistic, as if there's a bit more haze going on. Again, no confirmation on that one. I've nothing heard from them as in a confirmation. I did actually ask via email, but I didn't hear from them. But I remember in the past I have suggested via email that we at some point may get Planet Zoo lighting. That would be fantastic, because in these shots you can also see you can get the different attendants, and this is a parade attendant, but you can also choose from all the other wonderful performers and entertainers that you can put in. Super cool. Here you can see the people cheer, and this is what they said with the free update. They will actually take out their flags and wave them and all their other kind of stuff they buy in the scenery shops or like in the souvenir shops, and then they do wave. Not everyone is cheering, as you can see. Someone else like, I can't bother about the parades, whatever. And then we get this insane nice shot here of that absolutely not Baron inspired a VNN narrow drop coaster. Super cool. It's called the Iron Fall. They did another wonderful job at building this area. They put some vista points around here specifically for that drop going into that fountain, which has some effects going on when it goes down. Yeah, I mean, what shall I say? They have outdone themselves with this DLC. And then here you can see another shot of that disc thingy. Very clean looking. I guess that's one of the ones you want to theme. But again, I just took that out because you can see here's a couple more views inside to what the small town set will bring you. So we are going to be greeted with the small town set and with the float parade set, if you will. I don't know exactly how many scenery pieces these are. And I'm also not entirely sure if the float pieces are all DLC or partially also free update. Cannot really tell you. We'll get to know that especially. And if I have that in some notes I haven't seen, I'll put that in the comment down below, pin it. But I think it's part of the DLC as far as I understood, because the parades are DLC. And this is exactly my segue. While at this point we can just roll the DLC again, and I will do my little outro talk and give you a very good overview what I have talked to Rich about, and what the future might be of Planko 2, and what the idea of Rich was about the game. So let's roll the trailer as a backdrop, and let's have background footage, and we talk about some very exclusive insights. Alrighty then. For a bit of background, it was the March event of Planet Zoo 2, and in the morning I was asked if I would skip my lunch break and come over to Rich. He wanted to show me something. So who would I be to say no? So I went over and I had the chance to sit down with Rich and look at the Parades DLC, and in fact I was even allowed to play it because he asked me to test the parades, and the main reason for that is they wanted to freaking do it right. So again, I won't and can't go too much into detail, just because we have talked a lot about various other things that may or may not come in the future, and we don't want to create wrong hope. But I'm very happy that Frontier is becoming more and more open, allow me to talk about that. In the past, that was never allowed, so we just kind of tiptoed around that. Now I'm fully transparent with you that I had the opportunity, and you could literally, with every single bit Rich was asking, you could feel how passionate and how much willing they are to show us how insanely dedicated they are to bring this game where it needs to belong. They know exactly in which state it was It is, and it should be. They know exactly what players want, and they know exactly how to get there. It's just the way they might have been a little bit rough in the past, and now they wanted to do it right. I mean, look at the time frame. It's been March when I tested the game out, and I was so certain that the DLC will drop somewhere around late April. I was so certain because it was the first week of March when I tested it. Now, I can't tell if they delayed the DLC on purpose or if it was always planned to be that late. I have no idea, but I could imagine that Rich, because of our meeting, has decided, or the team has decided, to maybe give it some more time to cook, which I would genuinely say is the absolute correct decision, because it's now a insanely well put together DLC. It is a lot of things that people have been asking for. It is some really cool coaster rides. It's a lot of things that we always wanted to have. Parades is a huge introduction to the game, way bigger than any simple ride we got in the past. It is a fantastic kind of glow up for the atmospheric identity of the game. I want to go so deep into that because, again, I talked to Rich about that, and they are very aware of that. People were starving for having some more atmosphere in the game, because frankly, that was what the first game potentially was lacking as well, and people rightfully so said, okay, the second game brought a lot of cool new stuff to it, but where exactly is that added atmosphere? Where's exactly the two to it, you know? And this Parades pack is showing exactly that. It is moving into a direction that the game hasn't been seen before. This is a direction I am more than happy about, because it opens up so many doors. It just kind of opens up into that entertainment area more than ever, and I'm so pumped for it. I'm so excited. And also, while we were talking a lot about the needs, specific needs of players, you know, because there is, and there's like a theme going on right now, and you've seen that. That's a pattern. You see that Frontier on the one end is going to go way more into the casual players, giving casual players more simplified tools, giving casual players more blueprints, more ease of use to quickly put together stuff, and that also goes for Jurassic World Evolution and Planet Zoo alike. And on the other hand, they are opening up their systems a little bit more to give us creative players even more so all the tools needed to create something outstanding that we can then share as blueprints with people who don't want to bother with this stuff. And I'm loving the fact that they want to do that right. So the parades, you will see that they are incredibly customizable. You will have various carriages on which you can put floats. You will have a normal carriage. You'll have a, what is that? You will have a medium and small size. You can choose the different sizes. And then you can also decide to go for a bridged one, and that one has a gap in between. So the normal carriage, if you decide to go for two, they will have like a little connection piece in the middle that connects the two float pieces together. So if you build something above it, you need to kind of hide it somehow. But you can also build this kind of cool little things where you have like a float piece in the front, then have your bridge go to the back, and in between there's even space to go below, you know, that you can also build. You can decide to have people walking by the parade or not. You can decide whether to have one or multiple entertainers on one single float or have them on two floats. You can customize every single bit of it. You can decide for every single float which trigger effects go on at night or at daytime. You can decide what trigger effects go on for each individual train or float within the train. You've got to be a bit more precise about naming here. The whole parade is called the train, and each individual float as a float itself, you know, can trigger certain things. So it's a bit of a different thing. Like coasters have various trains and then cars, you know. In this sense, you've got a train, and that one has different floats. Anyways, that is just going into the details of how it's been built. Fantastic stuff. Again, I'm blown away by that. And when we were talking about all these things, I can assure you that we were going into all potential details that can occur that you need to fix and just go in and make sure that the parade is exactly how it is in real time, in real life. And whether I cannot tell you what exactly we said, I can say that it made a huge step from what I've seen to what I've seen now in the behind the scenes special event a couple days ago. There has been a lot of improvement to that early version I saw, and that early version was already really cool. One thing I specifically want to say is, and while it still is a little bit finicky here and there, genuinely putting a ride on existing path is surprisingly smooth, is especially when you have not super flat path. Sometimes you have like this kind of aligned, or because we have that new feature on pathing, that means, how was it called again? Not ground, but conforming. Exactly, it's conforming. Now the ride does that itself. So if you go conforming and you go almost like in line with it, you just like kind of try to measure that nicely, it'll actually snap to it and you have it flat on the ground. It's so cool, so satisfying to do. So when you have existing parks and you had already built these main street with a potential even fake parade in mind, you should have no drama putting this one in. Only beware that the station is kind of big. If you want to go for a long parade, you have to match the length of the parade with your station that you have to hide somewhere. But again, that is kind of realistic because these floats have to go somewhere in real life too. So that is obviously something you need to do. So all in all, I just want to give a incredible shout out to Rich himself. He has been genuinely like a little fun kid in school who just watched someone else doing something and took a ton of notes. So honestly, I cannot even tell you what feedback I even gave. Like, even if I was allowed to say everything I can't tell, because he literally took down so many notes also while I was just doing stuff, and then he asked me why I did certain things and noted down some other stuff, and I already have seen a couple of things he has done with this information. So really cool to see, and I do hope that even if it's not me, it doesn't matter. I hope they continue bringing in players that early on. Even if it's remote or so, give them an hour playtime with a remote system, and then let them give feedback, because that is so valuable for every single one of you guys, because most of us know at least somewhat what you guys always ask. We read the comments, we do read in the forums, we read in the Discord, so we do know what people have in mind and what they would expect from certain things. So that is generally it. Anyways, let's bring it to an end. Would I actually recommend this DLC even for that quite heavily increased price tag? Just because I didn't say that, it's $14.99 in pound and it's $18.99 for dollars and euros. So if you buy that in euros, unfortunately you're the one paying the most, because for exchange values, pound is the cheapest, dollar is then second, and euro is the most expensive, because, you know, money for value, the euro is the strongest currency of them all, and you have the highest price, if you will. So if you have any chance to buy it in pound or dollar, do it. If you don't need to do that in euro, that is a little recommendation on my side. Or you check, obviously, some other stuff. Anyways, but you get more than ever, more scenery pieces than ever. You get, I guess, one more ride than ever. It's like 2 coasters, 2 flat rides, the electric trolley, and the entire parade system. So if you boil it down, you pay €4 extra for the entirety of the parade system, which I think is a very fair price, to be honest. Because if you measure that with the old DLC size, which always was 5 rides and 250 plus scenery pieces, now you have 300 scenery pieces, the float items, the whole kind of wonderful scenery pieces, not scenery pieces, the wonderful parade, and the parade itself as a mechanic. You get these new staff members, the parade attendants as they're called, and you get all the other stuff. So it's basically a DLC plus a DLC, if you will. It's the biggest ever, and I am willing to say, no matter if it's more or less, it is also quality-wise the best ever. The amount of pieces that you will be using as they are attended is the highest ever, I would assume, because it's just so much of a theme park-esque DLC. That is great for us, creative builders, and also people who have been using individual wooden pieces to create like roof shingles, and now you have proper like modern Main Street roof pieces that we can use without it making look worse. And just in general, oh my god, is there a lot of great stuff in there. The 2 coasters, in my opinion, are fantastic additions. The 2 flat rides are fantastic additions. The electric trolley is a fantastic addition. So this is generally a 9.9 out of 10 for me. And I don't even know what the 0.1 would be. I guess it would be hotels at some point. But yeah, I will be doing a video about the future where I will talk you through a little bit more of what I have talked to Rich about. Just in general sentiment, Planet Coaster 2 wise, nothing in detail, as I said, but just in general, my opinion where this game is going. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. I'll be having that video in a couple days, because I have a certain idea where this is going, but I don't want to bloat this video with this japping. So let's put that into another video. For now, be hyped. Make sure to get this DLC. It is fantastic. And if you have missed out on Planko 2 so far and you wanted something to get back into it, well, here's the thing. Come back, have a look, enjoy the game, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to have more of that, more news, more Planko, more Planet Zoo, more Jurassic World Evolution, all these creative management games. Make sure to sub. I'm more than happy to welcome you. And now, thanks a lot, and I keep promising you for the moment, I won't be lying to you anymore. That's been the last lie, okay? For now, I'm out of news. Let's wait until I'll be there next time around. You just have to trust me. Bye!